Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a modern house. This modern house is a lot bigger than you might expect. It has an open plan brewing room / storage room. It has a bedroom attached to it. Upstairs, we have a crafting room / storage room, a smelting room, and finally, an enchantment room. Here are all of the materials that you will need to make this house. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. And now that we have all of our stuff, we can get started. So the first thing that we have to do is begin by placing 11 grey concrete on top of each other on the ground. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I then want you to go right by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then extend backwards by 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can then extend that 10th block all the way across to where we first started. We can join it back together, and also, very important, we want to join all of the 4 corners of the grey concrete shape that we created down to the ground. So we should have 3 corners to connect the 2 back corners and the 1 remaining front corner, which we just extended right backwards instead of extending down. So all in all, once we have done that, we should be left with this, which is great. The next thing that we are going to do is come to the bottom front right hand corner of our build, and we want to place a grey concrete behind the corner block. We then want to place 4 leaves extending to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. We then want to place a block of quartz on the end and extend the quartz upwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Stick a quartz slab on top and then extend the quartz slab inwards to where it would connect to the build, if there were anything to really connect to. What I then want you to do is extend the same first quartz slab backwards by 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I want you to extend inwards and join diagonally to the back part of the build, the same way that we just did on the front. I then want you to extend the corner block down to the ground as well, to keep things nice and parallel, to keep them the same, symmetrical, all of that. Now that we have done this, I want you to use your oak leaves, and I want you to place oak leaves joining the front and back part of this build together. I also want you to do the exact same thing on the back. I want you to place 4 oak leaves extending inwards to join to the grey concrete. We have to do something to the grey concrete area which will make things a bit easier, and that is to add a row of grey concrete that sits 1 row below, or better yet, leaves a gap of 1 between the top of the grey concrete frame like this. So you can see, place a row of grey concrete leaving a gap of 1 from the top all the way through, and then we can place some blue stained glass pane in the remaining space. This is going to create a really cool effect. It'll add another colour and it will add a little bit of depth and just a little bit more intrigue to the house. We also want to fill the top of this in using just straight up blue glass block if you want to have some nice interior light. This will only be useful during the day, of course, but it does help quite a bit in eradicating the need for loads and loads of unnatural light, which I personally like, but you don't have to add glass if you don't want to. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to seal up the left side of the house and the back side of the house. That doesn't mean to say that there isn't going to be any details on the back and left side of the grey concrete areas. And by the way, you want to seal them up using grey concrete as well. All it means is that it's actually easier to build the windows in to the actual grey concrete itself, I think, rather than trying to place the windows afterwards. I just think it's a tad little bit easier, and I'll show you what I mean. So now that both of these sides are complete, I want you to grab your blue stained glass pane and come to the bottom left hand corner of the back of the build. Extend right by one, up one, destroy that block and the one above it. Go to the right, leave a gap of 1, destroy 2 blocks. Reset by coming to the second block that we destroyed here, and then I want you to leave a gap of 2 going up, and then destroy 2 more. This is the pattern that we have created. We're going to place glass pane inside of all of these spaces. Now these windows are a little bit unique to the interior that I have designed for my house. You may not want this, but I'll show you why these windows make sense as we progress to the end of the build. We're not just adding windows there, however, we do have some more windows to add. On the left side of the build, if we come all the way up to the back glass pane here, and we move down from it 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then to the right, destroy 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and place glass pane inside of the 4 spaces. Come all the way down to the front right hand corner here, and move up 1, left 1. Up 1, go left, destroy 2 blocks, so we can then place glass pane inside. And once again, this looks seemingly random, but it's far less random once we actually do start adding the details where we need them. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to come to the right side of the build, the very right side. We're going to place a block of quartz on top of the hedge that we have created. The leaves are essentially just hedging, so that's what we're just going to refer to it as. So you can completely seal up this area. We'll be adding details slightly later. What we can now do is add some oakwood planks. Oakwood planks are pretty much going to be placed behind the leaves on the front and the back of the build, and the oak planks are going to extend upwards and they are going to sit just below the quartz slabs that we have at the top of the build. So they're not going to stick out at all. If anything, they're going to be sunk just half a row below, just kind of like this. When it comes to the top here, what you can do is you can join the right side together using oak planks, and you can join the left side together using oak planks as well. And that's how we'll leave things. The only little modification that I would recommend is adding a little bit of glass block, as to once again increase the amount of interior light which we'll have. You can fill in this little gap here on the inside, and you can actually do this on both sides. You can just add a single row of grey concrete, 2 if you like, and you can fill in the oak area if you want, but I quite like the inside looking a little bit like this. On the front of the build, we have to add windows. We'll be adding windows, I believe, on the back of the build as well. So where do we want to add the windows? The windows are right in the middle of the 2 rows of oak planks, and we want to add a 2x2 area of glass, just directly above the hedge like this. If we come to the top of the build, we want to leave a gap of 1 between the top oak planks and where we want to place the window, and then we want to place a 2x2 square of glass as well. So you can see this is how I kind of laid out the windows. I want to use quartz slabs, and I want to place a row of quartz slabs above the lower half, above the upper half of the lower windows, and I want to place quartz slabs below the lower half of the upper windows, which is difficult to say. We want to do this on both sides as well. So not only do we want to have windows on the front, but we're going to have windows on the back. And you can modify this in any way, shape or form that you like. You can change the materials, you can change the window spacing, you can change everything that you want. But I think that this looks quite good, and you may also like the interior that I've designed. I think it's quite an interesting one. So we now have the detail on the front and the back. On the side of the build, I want you to do this. So basically, you can see where we have the slabs that we placed. It inhabits 2 rows of block of quartz. Well, I want you to destroy these 2 rows on the side of the build, the right side of the build. I want you to destroy those 2 rows, connect the oak planks together on the front and back behind them, and then I want you to place quartz slabs at the bottom and top of the space. This will create quite a cool looking cutout for the build, and you'll see that it's nice that it kind of like follows on from the middle. It's actually quite a cool effect. And we can do the same at the top, although it's a lot less drastic in that if you just cut out a row of quartz at the top, just right in the middle, it just looks sort of cool. Like it's just a little bit of design. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I think it looks nice. So the last thing that we have to do in terms of designing the house is we have to add this is the front of the house. We've actually left this till last because it's one of the more complicated sides, I suppose. This is the entrance area. I'm going to begin by placing a row of grey concrete directly across the bottom, connecting the bottom 2 corners of the house together. I'm going to place a double door on the left side of this area, and I'm going to place quartz stairs leading down to the ground. Feel free to also add block of quartz inside the ground to elongate the path. What we're now going to do is right of the door, we're going to place a double wide row of grey concrete that will lead all the way from the bottom of our house all the way up to the top. This will cut things effectively in half. To the right of the door, where we have the empty space, I want to have a double window, so it's just double high. We're going to place 2 grey concrete above the double window, and we'll then place another one, so 1, 2. We then want to place grey concrete above that, and we want to extend the grey concrete to the left as well, so we want to limit the gap that we have here on the left. Above the door, we want to place 2 rows of grey concrete as well, which will give us a 2x2 space. I want you to then place quartz slabs below the space and above the space like this. The quartz slabs are then we then want to extend them like left and right, like this. And then we want to fill in between the quartz slabs using blue stained glass pane. I don't know why, but I really like that window in particular of the house. I think it makes it look it's just like a very modern looking window. The final thing that we are going to do, and this is the literal last thing that we have to do here, is grab grass block, oak trapdoors, and any flower. I like Lily of the Valley. We're going to place 3 grass blocks, 1, 2, 3 here, starting from the lower right hand side of this little small window. We're going to place oak trapdoors around the grass blocks like this. And we want the trapdoors, of course, just to cover up all the grass. And then we're going to place the flowers inside of the planter, and then this is what the house will look like once you have finished it. I think that the house looks really, really cool. It's very modern, and hopefully it was very easy for you to make. So now the only thing is we are lacking an interior, and we actually do have a surprising amount of room, as you're going to find out. I want to decorate the inside of the house just to show you what you could possibly do with the house if you wanted to, and to show you how big it is. Maybe even give you a little bit of inspiration if you feel as though you need some. So this is what your house will look like once it has been 100% fully completed, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this is what the entire outside of your house will look like, unless you decide to modify it in any sort of way, which of course you're able to. And the inside of the house, I have decided to decorate for you as well. So as you can see, this is kind of like the lobby of the inside of the house, which branches off into a bedroom. The bedroom has a couple of beds, a tiny little farm. It has a little bit of storage, some crafting, a little bit of light as well. It's nice and open plan down here. In the lobby, we have a tiny little bit of storage. We have a lot of brewing related storage. We kind of have like a cutout in the floor, which I think is really cool. We have a little brewing station underneath the stairs with a cauldron, some brewing stands, a chest. As we move upstairs, we have a little bit more of a specialized crafting area with all of the tools that we might possibly need. We have a couple of chests as well, a bit more storage. In this room here, we have a big giant smelting room. Again, more storage. We even have an armor stand around if we want to keep our armor in here too. And finally, the last room is going to be an enchantment room, and you can even see a little bit of an ender chest hidden away in here as well. So the house is a lot bigger than you might expect. It's pretty cool, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing, clicking that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And if you do want to make anything else by me, please check out the card system description below at the top of the comment section for more. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.